Welcome to Behind Closed Doors with Jared and Sam. I'm Jared.
I'm Sam.
And we're here to best serve you guys because we want to see our families make it, especially our black families. And whatever that looks like.
In whatever way that looks like. Whatever
is that what I said?
Making it looks like.
And whatever making it looks like.
Yeah.
And I do want to give this quick disclaimer just really fast that we are not the final authority on marriage.
Yep.
I do not speak for all men/husbands. She does not speak for all women/wives. And although we are one flesh, we do not speak for each other without consent. How you doing, babe?
I'm good.
Good.
I'm good. I feel good today.
Okay. Story time with Sam.
Story time with Sam. So it was so abrupt. I wasn't going into this story.
Oh, okay.
But I guess I wanted to tell this story. One, because it's funny looking back on it. It was not funny in the moment. But I think it's also a bit vulnerable. You know what I mean?
I was trying to stay in front of closed doors with this story.
He was.
I didn't want this to stay off the books.
He'd been fighting this for a week and a half. He's been fighting me telling this story.
I have.
And I got permission from parties involved to tell his story. And he's super mad about that because he was lightweight hoping that they was going to have a problem with it so that I couldn't tell it. I could feel it.
Praying.
See?
Hoping and praying.
So, okay, this is the story.
Mike with his good household.
2 years ago, we went on a couple's trip to Miami. It was for one of his close friends' 30th birthday. Mm-hmm. Okay. And so it was a surprise trip. So his wife hit us up and like, hey, I'm planning this thing, whatever, blah, blah. And then we planned to surprise meeting them because they don't live in the state. They live out of the state. So we planned surprising them by flying to their state first, then flying to South Beach, to Miami.
Same flight.
So we would be
flight.
Yes. So we lined up flights and everything. So I'm telling you this part because the trip gets off to a semi-rocky start. So we fly from Indy to where they're at, and they miss their flight. But we're on the flight. So we're like, man, time is going by. We're like, where are they at? Like, they're not here. And we can't like ask them about it straight up because it kind of gives it away because it was a surprise.
Yeah.
So at any rate, we're on the flight. They miss it. So they have to end up taking a different flight. So we get down to Miami early. Yeah. Okay. And it was perfect. We got down there. We got in the Airbnb, left our stuff, and we went to the beach.
Yep.
Cooling it. It was perfect. The water was perfect. Everything was perfect. It was good. Once they got there, we went back to the Airbnb. Obviously, they came. We actually have a video of like him and Mike seeing each other. Oh man, I said Mike.
Edit that out. I said it, but I said his name earlier too. Yeah. So edit. You're gonna have to have two edits.
I forgot.
Yeah.
So we get back to the Airbnb. They're there at this point. We have a video of him and his friend like seeing each other for the first time. It was a surprise, the whole thing. Okay, it was great. Next morning, we're going out. We're going out to eat. Low key, I kind of think it was breakfast, maybe like a late breakfast or something.
Like a brunch.
We're sitting at the table now. We're in South Beach. Okay,
we are.
So women are walking around. You know what I mean, almost naked, right? It's par for the course. Okay. So we're sitting there, and me and his friend's wife are sitting on one side of the table. They're sitting on the other side. And I see them whispering to each other or whatever. And I'm assuming, it's guy stuff, whatever. So as they're doing that though, I see Jared look at this chick's booty as she's coming past the table. Right. And he didn't just like look at her booty, like, cause she's in a swimsuit. He followed it. Like, all the way, y'all. I'm sitting across from him. Okay. So that annoyed me. So I look at him because I didn't want to go too deep with it, but I was just like, all right, like,
because I work on that.
He doesn't usually do that. In fairness, he doesn't usually do that. That isn't normally something he does,
and
which irritated me more.
And I wasn't even showing. Let me add this too, because you just trying to speed through. That was a look, and I just happened to look where it was at. and I followed it. It wasn't like that I was like, I noticed it and it was like, look, and he didn't tell me what to look at. He didn't tell me what I was looking at. I looked and
this man locked on her booty and followed it almost all the way to her table, right in front of his wife.
No, I thought they were across the street.
No, they were in the restaurant. They were going, she literally walked past our table and was going to a different table. This man locked eyes on her booty until she got to her table. Okay. Let me just, okay. So instead of snapping in that moment, cause I mean, we're drinking pina coladas, like, you know what I mean? Okay. So instead of snapping in that moment, no, I was drinking a pina colada.
Oh, okay.
So instead of snapping in that moment, I was like, all right, like you gonna get chopped in the throat type situation, right? Like, okay, it's disrespectful. And when I did that, instead of easing up and being like, oh, you know, I'm sorry, Jared gets hype. Like on some what you mean type. Like what you mean? Okay. Like I'm threatening him or something, right? So he gets jazzy. And I'm sitting here like, no, you're not getting jazzy. After you just made a mistake, I'm trying to let you know that it was a mistake, but you know what I mean? And so obviously things go downhill. Okay. We leave the restaurant and it's thick. Okay. We're walking down the street.
Almost as thick as her. So
we're walking down the street. It's thick. We get on the trolley, and anybody who's been to South Beach, you know, the trolley that runs Collins is free. It takes you up and down the whole strip. Okay. We're on the trolley, and now he's trying to patch it up, and he's saying stuff to me low, and I was like, I ain't trying to hear it. It's too far gone. Right. And he keeps trying, and I say something back. He says something slick, and it gets worse, and it's low. And at some point, it gets hot enough. I can't remember exactly what he said. I didn't say nothing else. I looked away. I took my rings off, and I bounced them off the side of his face.
I'm talking about, fam, with hand connection, too.
So
it was like my head. It's like she threw it. And
there was no hand connection.
It 1,000,000% was, and it was a hand and rings up to the side of the head.
On this
now,
side
mind you, this trolley is packed.
It wasn't packed.
Old nigga driving the trolley is like
people
looking at me like, "You all right?" He's asking me if I'm okay. Yo, she's doing this on my man's 30th birthday party. I mean, his 30th birthday trip. This is my best friend. And she does that, and I don't move after she does that.
So I just keep sitting there. I took him off, threw him at him like that. Was hot, and then we stop. He gets off at the first stop, and after a couple of seconds, you know what I mean. His friend's wife comes over and she's like, you know, are you okay? Is everything okay? Blah, blah, blah. And at that point, I'm trying to find my rings because I done threw them.
Yeah, one petty thing I did. So
hold on. Don't tell it yet. So I'm looking for my rings. I can only find my band. I can't find my engagement ring. And I'm starting to panic a little bit inside, but you know, I'm a real nigga, so I hold it in because I got to stay tough because I was, you know what I mean, I already done went left. You got to like double down. Once you go that left, you can't immediately come out of it. You know what I mean? But anyway, so I'm looking for my ring, can't find my engagement ring, and I'm starting to spaz. So now I'm starting to spaz out a little bit on the trolley.
But yeah, so I found the engagement ring immediately.
Yeah.
And I picked it up and I walked off that trolley.
He scooped it up as he was walking off.
I never said I found it. I just took it and bounced.
Yeah, he took it and never said nothing. So I'm in there slightly having a panic attack because I can't find my engagement ring. She can't find it.
I got it the whole time. I even said something to my boy, man. I was just like, I found it, and she gonna keep looking. I ain't even letting her know I found it.
Yeah. So eventually, somehow they tell me. I think maybe his friend tells his wife, and I'm like, oh, okay, thank God he has it. So we get back to the Airbnb, and I ain't gonna lie to y'all, it gets rough. And it takes that whole day for us to get it like back together. It took hours to pull it back together. And I'm telling this story, one, for transparency, because I don't want people to see how we are. Because this was 2 years ago. This was not like, this was 2 years ago, 3 years ago. When was it?
Yeah, that was 2021.
21, 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was 3 years ago. But my point is, I don't want people to see us and think that like, yo, stuff ain't really went left. Like, we've handled stuff really bad.
Baby,
like,
I don't think anybody is gonna see us and feel like stuff ain't went real left before.
Well, I'm just saying, I just want to tell a story, but also it led me to, because this happens frequently with us, needing transition periods when you go on vacation or go, like we've done staycations too, like where we go to a hotel and stuff just away from the kids. And I was just curious. I guess I'm curious, one, about other couples. So I would love for y'all to comment and chime in and let us know, like, do you guys need transition periods also? But we've noticed, like, as we've done that frequently, that we need time to like adjust to the fact that we're on vacation. Like, there's usually some kind of tension, regardless of what brings it about. There's usually some kind of tension or something we have to get over initially at the start before we can like relax and just like enjoy each other.
Like the first pod.
Yeah. There's usually some little like, I call it a transition period. But like, don't you feel that way?
I do. I do feel like we need one. Because I try to go right into vacation mode, or I try to go right to play mode, because it is so hard to even get to play mode.
It is.
So I try to go right to play mode, and most times you are usually not right there with me on play mode.
That's so interesting, because
Would you feel the same way?
Huh? No, I don't try to just go straight to play mode. No, I definitely need the transition. But I will say this, that even using that story as an example, you are not as light as you think you are, like in those situations, because when I was like, okay, like you had the opportunity to make light of it, to laugh, to be like,
I think
like,
part of it,
I'm sorry.
I think part of it was embarrassment and deflection.
Yeah.
I think that was part of it. Part of the reason why I got tight. Like, first of all, come on, man. What you doing? I think embarrassment was part of why I got tight too. Because somebody sees you looking at their booty, and this is my husband. Well, she didn't see me. That's one. And you're the locking eyes. You're adding a lot of sauce.
I'm not adding sauce. He followed her booty cheeks. Why do you think I would get so mad?
You would get mad if I just glanced at it.
No, that's not true.
I think the whispering, the looking, I think all of it added to. I don't think it was just because I didn't lock eyes with her. There's
a little bit of too, like, because it's not something that you usually do. There was a little bit of feeling like you were willing to disrespect me to entertain your friend.
But she also didn't know what he said to me to get me to look.
No, I didn't. No,
That's
I
my
didn't.
Man, no.
But I just assumed it was something about this chick's booty since he locked eyes and followed it.
No, and he didn't say what it was. He didn't say what it was. He just told me to look.
He didn't say.
And I looked.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked, and it was Miami. It was South Beach.
And he was following a fatty. I'm sure. I can't imagine him just not saying what it was.
He didn't. And obviously, I know why he wouldn't.
Why?
Because our wives are right across the seat, right across the table with supersonic hearing. That's why.
Supersonic hearing. I didn't even hear what he said.
I mean, but you were over there. You were over there looking at us while we were talking.
Because you're sitting across from us.
I'm not trying to justify it at this point.
Oh, good.
I'm just telling you what happened.
I think, yeah. Are you sorry now?
Yeah, I would never do that
good.
now.
Oh, that's good.
And I don't think either one of us would put each other in a position to lose like that.
Yeah.
I think that was he just turned 30, so there was still some young stupidity there. and he caused his brother to stumble.
Ooh.
But I mean, that's my man, though.
You didn't choose, though?
Huh?
I feel like you chose.
If me and you are sitting down talking, and I say, hey, look, you're going to look.
Yeah.
And you're going to sit there and look to keep finding out what it is.
When I realize it, no. To find out what is there to figure out about some booty cheeks?
No, I have to find what he's saying to look at first because he didn't tell me. And that's why I'm saying so if I tell you to just look, and for crying out loud, Samantha, it's yams. No man is going to be like, bruh, what are you doing?
No, I'm saying, but you would look. No, but you would look, see what he's talking about, and then refocus. Right?
Liquor, though.
They don't make sense.
My man.
Oh,
thank
no,
you.
do not build him
because I was probably on mimosa number 8.
Y'all can't see Taj, but he just
I'm probably on mimosa
him.
number 8 trying to have a good time.
He ain't mimosa number 8.
This
early.
is where a lot of times, I'll just speak for mine. Mine gets it wrong. So she got a little attitude. She's stomping around the house, huffing and puffing. And, of course, wants me to make amends. But what she doesn't know is while she's stomping around, she ain't doing nothing but putting on a show.
What does that have to do with anything?
Right cheek.
Oh, my God.
Each cheek in a different time zone. The left hand not telling the right hand what it's doing. I'm not mad at it all the time. And I might take my sweet time coming back and making amends because you done turned the home into Magic City. Almost got a couple ones thrown on you.
What is wrong? Yo. Why you get on here and turn into a clown?
Come on, man. Don't let's not do that.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are clowning right now.
The clowning and turning into a clown is not the same thing.
Yes, it is.
Man,
are you going to be
sensitive?
sensitive?
That out. Yeah, edit that clown part out.
No.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody...
Edit that clown. My man Taj. Edit that fuck
No.
fuck out. But yes, going back to what you're saying, I do think we need a transition period. I think the transition period, it just helps us both refocus.
You got so sober, sober.
Because I do want to, because now I'm dragging it. I'm dragging it on my end.
You don't, yeah. But the clown was a perfect transition for us.
Yeah. Because you need that balance.
No, because the juggling.
Because you was,
No. So on our first, ignore Jared. On our first podcast episode that was uploaded on YouTube, one of the comments was from a friend, and shockingly, he gave us a really long,
bore his soul
comment. He didn't
pour his heart out.
He didn't bare his soul, but
shout out to my man.
First of all, thank you so much for commenting.
Yes,
but also, I super appreciated the question too, and he asked us to address this topic. So I'm gonna read his comment so we can all be on the same page.
Yeah.
But he said, "I'm actually a single man with never have been married." But I'm very interested in this type of conversation. I would like to know how you all balance relationships, intimate friendships, children, etc., work and hobbies. With my last relationship failing recently, I know I've walked away. He said, I've now walked away without my girl or my friends. I let my friendship slip because I felt it was something necessary for me to put that energy into my girl, while at the same time, my children and me also needing to work hard to provide for my family. Even with letting my friendships deteriorate, I still couldn't make enough time for my family, with working to save for retirement and making sure my woman never needs for anything. So with all that being said, can you all please explain your life balance on a future episode? And this is that future episode. So explaining life balance. And I think it's so funny. And I mentioned juggling because I don't feel like we balance as much as we do juggle. And literally how it sounds.
Yeah.
What you're picturing is exactly what our life looks like.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a hot mess. It's tough. It is tough. And I said that in the reply to him as well, that it's a challenge for us still to this day all the time because things in our life change so much. I'm waiting for you to chime in.
Oh, I thought you were you were continuing on.
I've talked a lot.
This is the thing for me. I notice just even as a baseline, the minute that you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else.
That's a fact.
So there is no real perfect balance of anything. Me and you have had the conversation about the amount of kids we have and adding an additional kid, how it's hard enough given each one of our children the amount of time, effort, and love as it is. We're still, as they age, we're still trying to figure out formula because it changes as they age and what they need and what area they need it in. And then you have work, and then you have each other. Then you have purpose. Then you have passion. Then you have hobbies. Like there is no perfect. There's sometimes you're just going to hit it in some areas.
Yep.
And you will miss it in other areas.
Yeah.
This is a season that you and I are in that there's a huge emphasis on companionship and friendship. And there's some things that probably may not get covered in us trying to figure out this new dynamic because I started a new job here recently, and that's going to take at minimum 40 hours a week of my time.
Yep. And that's like,
I mean, unless y'all do what y'all supposed to do and help this pod blow up, then I can quit.
Okay.
You feel me?
Listen, all kinds of content and stuff. You listen, we'll be able to give more. But I think, it's juggling and it changes. And I think one of the things that I like about even the thought of juggling is that once you introduce something else, the way that you handle it, the way that you juggle, or maybe even what you drop, all of those things change depending on what's being introduced. And that's really more so what ends up happening. One of the things that came to mind too for me is last year, our 11-year-old, we were getting ready to go swimming. It was in April. It was actually our oldest son's birthday.
Yep.
We were about to go to an indoor pool, about to go swimming. I had just helped him put his swim trunks on. He goes around the corner. Y'all, it's not even 5 seconds. I hear him say, Rasengan, which is a move from Naruto.
Yep.
And I hear glass break. And I'm thinking, what did y'all break? So I'm like, what was that? Right? I come back around the corner. It was the way he said my name, though. He was like, Mom, like in a scared way. Mm-hmm. And I come around the corner and his arm is pouring blood. Yeah. Like pouring blood. And so I'm not going to go into all the details, but I was able to control it and stuff until the ambulance came. We got to the hospital, but he ended up cutting, it was like two tendons, a nerve, one of his arteries. Mm-hmm. Like it was a whole thing. Yeah. And so for all last summer, he got way more attention than our other kids, right? Yeah. That's not something that consistently happens. It's not something that we planned for or anything. But in this juggling act, he just so happened to get a lot more hand time than some of the other balls, right? Including our kids, including whatever we were working on at the time. Yep. And that's kind of the way I feel like we handle life. We prioritize the things that need to get the most time at that moment. Yeah. And we have to let go of other things. I think the other thing is too, when you said something about saying yes to something and saying no to something else, it helped me a lot when I started to put things in my calendar and actually giving my time a name. So not only when I say yes to something, am I saying no to something else, but when I say yes to something, I know what I'm saying no to. So if the gym, which it is in my calendar at 9 a.m., right? If somebody wants me to do something at 9 a.m., I know that I'm saying no to my gym time. It's not just I'm saying no to something else I could be doing. Like it's just whatever could be there. No, it's a very specific thing. Like today I had to go at 3:00 to register our son. We're about to send our second one to high school. So he's a freshman. It was his freshman orientation today at 3:00. Somebody hit me up, tomorrow. tomorrow I had the opportunity to do a keynote to speak at a youth event, right? I was to be the keynote speaker at a youth event, but it is our oldest son's school orientation, right? So I knew when she asked me, could I do it? I was like, hey, it's his registration that day. I can't do it. And then I hit him up just to make sure that he couldn't do it. But yeah, I knew in that moment though, that saying yes to being that keynote speaker was saying no to being at my son's registration. And for me, that's no compare. I don't care. I'm not going. I'm going to go be there with my son.
Well, and the premise of it is too, a good tool for you guys out there is the Eisenhower Matrix. I know
my God,
she hates it when I bring that up, but it is a great way to visualize your things that are priority versus your things that are urgent. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a great way to actually set things in your life in order. And I think sometimes
talk about that though, the quadrants.
So if you could, Taj, like, I'll just send you a picture of it and you can just put it up.
Yeah.
And then you know what I'm saying? It's kind of self-explanatory. So that way I'm not,
you don't remember what it's called?
It's
different parts?
Priority important. Priority not important. Not priority but important. And then not priority, not important.
Yeah.
And then you just set the things that you're responsible for, or whatever it is that you're doing accordingly. But I think too, a lot of times, until you kind of get a handle on you, and this is just for all my singles out there, it's best to not bring somebody else in until there's some sort of foundation set. And I think sometimes we just rush into things because we want companionship and company, and she look good and it's soft, and I want, you know what I mean? And I just want something next to me. But sometimes if you examine your life, especially like that, and you put things in order, you're like, man, I don't have any type of foundation or anything in place.
Yeah.
I ain't got no business having a woman right now.
And like,
'cause that's another priority important.
Or maybe that foundation maybe the only thing that you are missing is the foundation, right? Because maybe you have all the pieces, you're just not organized about those pieces. So like, for example, because you know now that, man, it really takes some strategy to make sure I'm giving the right amount of time to all these different things. Yeah. Maybe you need to set up days where it's like, no, listen, come hell or high water on Friday nights, we're doing game night with the kids, period, point blank.
Or
but if that's something set up,
night or something like that. If
you set up your schedule like that, I go to the gym on Monday, Wednesday, Friday mornings, and I do game night with the kids on Friday evenings, and I do this. You know, if your life is set up that way, when somebody comes in, this is already set up. So they know that too, because there's clarity around it. I don't, as a woman coming in, I don't expect to have your time on Monday, Wednesday, Friday mornings. And I don't expect to have your time on Friday evenings, because I know that you've set that aside for XYZ. Like, those are some of those things that we can just be better about before we get into relationships to begin with.
As the person coming in, or as the person bringing in? As the person
bringing in, because the person coming in, the good thing about a new person coming in is they're gonna honor whatever's in place. They're new to your life.
Hopefully.
I mean, if they don't, they're not the right person. I don't know what to, like, I ain't gonna hold you. If somebody at the baseline, if they can't come in and honor the structure, the boundaries, what you have set up in your life.
Well, what if it's, all right, let's work on some new adjusting of schedule, because maybe I can give you an example as to why I'm saying that maybe there needs to be some reworking once you bring somebody else in. If you're going to be able to bring somebody else in, you need to be flexible enough to bring somebody else in.
Yes, no, I'm saying I'm assuming though that you have time to give to that. You have time to give to that person. And yeah, but I'm saying still, whatever time you're deciding to give to that person, obviously it's set apart from.
And if you don't, sit your fast tail down.
But I think I know that was a long time on that response, but I feel like that's
we love you,
answer.
bro. We appreciate you. Thank you for sharing, and subscribing and following.
And commenting and asking us the question. Please continue to comment and ask us questions.
Yes.
Because that helps us know what you want to hear us talk about.
Yeah.
What you think, Taj?
I think y'all nailed it.
Oh, okay, good.
Okay. You don't have any formula for a work-life balance?
Yeah, because y'all have been married, remind me, 9 years.
9 years.
Yes.
Right.
It ain't easy. Prioritizing things are important. But, Jared, you mentioned that y'all are in a season of companionship and friendship. And I think that, man, that's got to be sustained. I think that's got to be something that you can't just brush over the friendship. And I think that's what's, for us anyway, has allowed us through all the peaks and valleys of marriage to keep it right. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, just because we did things so out of order, that it was just neglected and put to the side, and we didn't give the proper time to it to really build friendship like that the way that we should have. So, man, we just all in transparency, we're in a season where that's all I'm on, for real with her. I just want this to be my dog at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because we went too long with that not being the case.
Yeah.
And it's just a lot of sometimes it feels like we just grew up together.
Yeah.
Like siblings.
Not like siblings. But we definitely grew up together. I'm just saying but we legitimately did grow up together.
Yeah,
we did grow up together.
Mm-hmm.
Two, though, I will say this: we didn't just starve in the time that we weren't giving the right amount of time to that stuff, though, because we have our moments.
I just think it was hard to hard to figure it out, and it's now it seems like a concerted effort.
It wasn't given its proper priority.
Yeah.
But when we went out with friends, or we played cards, or we have good times. You know what I mean? We have good friend times. I guess it wasn't like he just said, there wasn't a concerted effort given.
But you guys have had time to grow as people, and also build on a friendship. So people who are single nowadays in 2024, who are our age, who have issues like him, the guy that, made a comment. How is it different for people that aren't in you guys' shoes? Y'all met in high school.
Yeah.
You've had time to grow together, similar to, me and Risha, but there's a lot of people, man, that are single. They meet someone, that person comes with all that baggage that y'all got to deal with together.
Well, I think a lot of people fake the personal development. I think a lot of times people are just, doing a lot of fronting on socials, but they're not really, and they're just saying buzzwords. We talked about words just being overused and reused, and a lot of word vomit and regurgitation out there. I don't think there's a lot of people actually doing internal work.
Yeah, because the passage of time does not automatically equate to self-work.
No,
it does not. That's tough. I will say this, though. I think the advantage that we did have with getting together young is that most of our relationship baggage comes from each other. So, the stuff that I deal with, relationship wise with him, like baggage with him, it's stuff that I did. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And vice versa. So I think there is something.
That Chanel baggage you got over there, though?
Stop. I think that is something legit that is easier. But on the flip side, though, is we had to figure out how to do all things at once. I had to figure out how to be a mom and a wife and his friend and a provider and pursuing purpose and all these things at once. Whereas the people who haven't, now if they're single at this age and they haven't gone, did all of that at once, or like he said, he hadn't been married yet, he's been able to do things in a different stages, kind of order and stuff. Yeah, different kind of stages.
It's not all at once. And I guess doing the internal work helps you know thyself.
Yeah.
So you know what you have the capacity for and what you don't have the capacity for. Don't try to take on everything at once if you can't.
Yeah.
If you cannot.
Yeah.
There was a post that we saw earlier about a guy talking about a dude getting into a relationship with somebody and he has no kids and she has 3 kids.
Oh yeah.
Hey fam, you may not be ready for that, brother.
Her life is different. Yeah,
her life is
different.
Totally different.
Yeah. And
she's probably moving on a level that you ain't ready to move at.
On the flip side though, one of my cousins is marrying a girl who her kids are practically grown. And he's a little older than us, and now they're getting together. They're in a really good space where she's, you know what I mean? She's launching her older kids into their adulthood, you know what I mean? And they're able to start a family with each other, and it seems to be going well. So I think it's possible, but I think, you do have to find these windows where it makes sense, who it makes sense with.
Yeah, because I don't want to speak in absolutes. Of course, there's nuance, it's a spectrum, there's gray areas and all that stuff. And like I said, hey, you grown, do what you want to do.
Yeah.
We ain't the authority on nothing.
We're just telling you what we do. Because I can't even tell you that it's right what we do.
Yeah,
the way we juggle and
we could be totally wrong.
We could be totally wrong.
We can get to heaven and God's like, man, y'all was backwards on that.
Yeah, this is just what we do though.
It sounded good. But you was backwards, my boy.
Well, like always, we also have a myth.
Mm-hmm.
So this time our myth is, don't let your husband leave home hungry or horny. We've all heard that, correct? Everybody in the room? Okay.
Have you heard that, Taj?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't let your man leave home hungry or horny.
I would love to hear where you land on that.
Let me talk to my wife first. Before I get on here and say something crazy.
Oh, my Lord.
No, let's hear what you think.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with the myth. Mm-hmm. Let me tell you why. Not because of the actual words, but because the heart of just serving your partner.
Yeah.
Just coming into a relationship willing to serve your partner as best as you can. So it's not about actually I'm having sex with my partner before they leave out of here just to make sure that they don't go have sex with somebody else. Mm-hmm. But am I loving them the best way that I can while I'm sending them out to a place that doesn't love them like that?
Yeah.
So for on the reverse, it would be something like, yo, if you don't buy your woman flowers, somebody else will. That type of thing. Mm-hmm. So just and it's not about the flowers, just like, am I willing to serve my wife the best way I can before she goes out into the world?
But this is about husbands though.
Yeah. So even still,
I guess I'll say this. I think
meet the need and get a seed.
I think women don't like the fact that this kind of suggests that when men do cheat, it's our fault. Like that we send him out into the world hungry and horny, and that's why he slept with somebody else.
I mean, why would anything be y'all fault?
When I think things that y'all do should be y'all responsibility, and things that we do should be our responsibility.
Hello? Y'all over there?
Okay. Dang, you the only one willing to make your wife mad. You the only one. The only one. And like I said, clowning. But no, I think I agree with the thoughtfulness and the sense of serving your partner. Mm-hmm. I think we are in our best forms as husband and wives when we're thinking from a place of how can I serve this person, or fulfill the needs that are my place to fulfill, right?
Yeah.
I think so. But yeah, I think women don't like that piece. And two, I think sometimes it's annoying that that's the thought with men, but not on the other side, not with women. Like there's no quote about not letting your wife leave home, not feeling emotionally secure or safe or satisfied sexually, or nothing like that. Like there's no quote on the flip side that, I don't know, gives understanding to women, because husbands be sending women out, listen, emotionally just devoid of romance and compassion and understanding. And then that also leaves the door open for a nigga to be in their ear like, yo, yada yada. So I think
there is a quote.
What's the quote?
We discussed it in episode 1.
What, happy wife, happy life? That is not the same, because this is talking about how you send them out into the world. This is about making them susceptible to temptation. And that's what I'm talking about. Women are also susceptible to temptation. And that's what I don't like, is that this acknowledges men's vulnerability, but not women's. And I think it's unfair. It's just like when they say that, women can't have meaningless sex. It's always deep for them. And it's like,
well, I'll challenge you with this.
True.
Let me challenge you with this. Because if we're going back to maybe where that saying came from and who it stemmed from, that's probably houses that came from a traditional role, traditional roles where women stayed home and men went to work.
Right.
And these were the men that took their ring off as soon as they got out the crib and had families around the corner.
So should it be quotes that we're still spouting to people? That's what I'm saying. So if it's based on that kind of,
but you agree with the sentiment though.
I agree with the sense of servitude. This is nobody. You would be crazy to think that we're all human. Okay, we're all human. You would be crazy to think that your husband leaves home and there's no kind of temptation. And bonus, that as a wife, you have no responsibility to make sure that his needs in any way are being fulfilled. That's crazy. Do I think that all of his needs are your responsibility? No. But do I think that you have a responsibility to fulfill the ones that are in your power to fulfill? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And I think that is a part of loving. That's a part of loving your spouse, setting them up for success. I'm not going to throw him out to the wolves. You know what I mean? On purpose, not intentionally. I don't want him to fail. Yeah. That's a part of us being a team together.
And that's what I'm speaking to.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
It's not necessarily the words of,
but I think
send him out, hungry or horny. It's not really about that. It's just about the undertone of it.
Sometimes though, there's extenuating circumstances where you're going to go out hungry and horny, and you still need to have the fortitude,
self-control.
Yes, self-control.
If you send me out hungry and horny, I shouldn't be an excuse to go out and cheat.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. We should still be holding ourselves accountable to carrying a certain level of responsibility and integrity and respect and care for our marriage. You know what I mean? Because I feel that both ways, not just for men, for women as well. Because even if you go out not having, everything that you feel like you need or want from your husband, there shouldn't be no opening where a nigga can whisper in your ear either. So I don't feel that way one way. I feel both ways. But I think though, telling young women this who are getting married is I just don't like it anymore. I think it's dated. I think we need to stop. I think there's too much nuance in it. I just don't think we should.
I think it's just the easy way to say what I said. Did you commit? I'm asking.
Oh, yes. I mean, yeah.
Then be committed.
But
so
it
doesn't matter what it doesn't matter what the need is. Be committed, because he may not be.
Be committed to you?
He may not be somebody who likes to eat food like that. Matter of fact,
oh my God!
Every time I get with Dre, Dre is just an energy drink guy right now in this young 22-year-old life that he's living. 22? Yeah, 22. He's only drinking energy drinks. He ain't eating like that. So that's what I'm saying. Like, he may not be somebody that you got to feed like that.
But once he's ready for marriage, he probably will be, though. Once he's getting married.
But stock the fridge. That's all I'm saying. Whatever his fridge is, stock it.
For sure.
Yeah. Yes, but I don't think that's.
And if we look at all our great men, where most men fail, was in an area of flesh.
Yeah.
So you have to be cognizant
even when
of
they
that.
have it all, though.
So
That's
you
what
have to be cognizant of that.
You'll see men. I don't want to say have it all because it's easier. It's easy for us to judge and say that from the outside.
Yeah,
but
right.
I'm saying
his wife could look good, but she ain't throwing nothing back.
I'm saying no, not just his wife can look good. She ain't throwing nothing back. I'm saying you could have men who women are doing their best to meet their needs and they'll still go and cheat because that is just a character flaw within them. That is just within them to do. That is, as a matter of fact, me and you talked about this before, but that is why the prophet comes to David's house after he takes Bathsheba. Because he's saying, you have your pick of all of these women. You could have done any of that. That's the parable he tells him about somebody who takes them. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like, there are cases as well, though, where they have everything that they need, everything they could even dream of, and they will still just go out and do whatever because they do not have the self-discipline, self-control,
can I ask you a question
as don't ask me nothing crazy. If you're
just
gonna
as
clown,
a woman. I know I'm
you
dead
gonna
serious.
clown, no, because I see you smiling already. You gonna clown?
No, but I'm dead serious.
What?
I'm dead serious. How come every time that there is something said to a woman, like y'all fight it and go right to men?
No, not every time.
What
Not
do y'all
every
think?
time.
They probably 95% from 3.
No.
So I'm saying
Clowning.
40, 50, 90 club, they like Steph from right there, ain't they?
Clowning.
So that's what I'm saying. It's like instead
Clowning.
of going there with it, why not just absorb what's being said and think critically about it?
Because
to
we
get to
had
the
to.
point where I get to, instead of being married to the words that are being said.
Do you know how much shit women has taken, like, just for so many years about so many various things, like how particular we have to be about our bodies, about how we work, about how we show up in our families, or how we show up in the workplace, or how we can say things or how we can't say things, or what we can do and what we can't do, what we're able to do or we're not able to do. I'm saying we are highly criticized in every single place that we go into. And then y'all on the flip side expect to be able to say something as dated as this to us and not have criticism for it.
No,
that
I'm only
is
asking you to think critically, like I just did. Like, get
I'm
to a point
saying,
where I'm not married to the words that are being said, but I'm trying to understand the sentiment of it. I'm thinking about how I'm thinking, because just like you just said, you just listed off a whole bunch of things. So it's like you're thinking from your trauma and then you're speaking from it.
No, it's not a speaking from trauma. It's saying that we have been trained to be highly critical people, so that we show up in a particular way in different spaces, right? Mm-hmm. And then you want us to not be highly critical, though, of other things. What I'm saying is y'all can't have it both ways. We can be highly particular and critical, but we're going to be that probably consistently across the board. It's going to happen that way.
You guys are highly and particularly critical on what? On
everything.
You don't think you think that's a good thing?
I think it makes us excellent at certain things. And I think all of life is a balance, the virtue between two vices.
Well, I think that's more of a...
All of it is a balance. What I'm saying is being overly critical, yes. But being critical, no. I don't think that's a fault.
You don't...
I don't think that's a bad thing.
This is what I'm saying to you. I'll say this to you, too, because we talked about this with me and the kids. Like that, some of those things I picked up as a survival mechanism aren't things that I should pass to my children, because one, they shouldn't even be in an environment to just survive. So some of those things that I'm trying to force feed down into their mindset, I only gained them because of a lack somewhere.
Yeah, but
and all those things aren't great things that I've adopted to adapt to whatever environment I was in. So I'm saying, even with something like that, the things that you're saying, it seemed like this is more nurture and more, adoptive.
An adaptation.
Yeah, than it is a good thing.
Yes. Okay. But the problem is that the world is not in a place where it's safe for us to let that go. Like if y'all want us to operate differently.
Who is y'all? You with me.
If y'all want us to operate differently. If y'all want us to operate differently, be different. create a different environment. But for right now, it is still unsafe. We're losing basic essential rights right now. We can't even choose, what we do with our bodies. So what I'm saying is every time the world feels like it might be safe enough to let certain things go, it's not. So no, until the world changes and is more safe, I wouldn't suggest that any woman lets go of certain things that we have created or done to adapt. Now, what you're talking about though is two different things. There is the way the world is and the way the world should be. And unfortunately, we have to operate in the world as it is and hope and pray and operate in a way that continues to bring how it should be. And so we accept certain things like what I just said. I just said that the sentiment of it, the servitude part of it, I agree with all of that. But I think the way that it's conveyed to young women, you're only going to get pushback from it because one, it is dated. It does feel very like traditional roles, suggestive in that way. And then also it does ignore the fact that, not only do you need to serve, but you deserve to be served in that relationship as well. And that's something that women, we are taught to serve. We are taught to serve from the very beginning. We're given baby dolls to take care of, kitchens to take care of. We're get all these things. That is from the very onset. We are taught.
Our life was lit as a boy, wasn't it?
Y'all get cars and G.I. Joes and you know what I mean? But we get taught to play house and get Barbies and get babies. And like immediately we're being taught the responsibilities of family and you guys are not. And so what I'm saying, so you're probably going to get pushback when you say things like this to women nowadays.
There's a deeper, nuanced conversation to have, but I still think it stems from. I do think there is still a part where it's just like, man. First of all, we done having kids anyway, so you married and off the market. I'm saying you don't have to do that. We already ain't speaking for all men and women. So I'm saying if somebody says it to you, why not just, I'm rolling with the sentiment of that instead of like fighting it. And
because Jared,
the thing is too, like,
in what way is somebody saying this to, first of all, it's being said most times to a woman, outside of same-sex marriages, when you don't let your husband leave home hungry or horny. In what context do you think somebody is telling a woman that?
Hey, now listen, baby girl, I'm telling you, Savannah, that's a good man. Throw that thing back.
But this is usually coming from women, period. Okay. Mm-hmm. It's usually given in a, like I said, unsolicited advice. It's never the right time. It's usually never the right time to say something like this. But if you do want to give somebody the same kind of advice, you just say, listen, just serve each other.
Right. Yep.
Focus on being the best you can be for you so that you can show up the best your partner needs you to be for them. Yep. Like, period. And that would cover all bases without any of the historical stuff, without any of the traditional roles, without any of the shade.
As a team, fill gaps.
Yeah, like just that's it. That's it. So this week, I do have where are we at on time?
Somewhere in the neighborhood of 54 minutes.
Shit.
55
okay.
minutes total.
So let's go straight to the close tip.
Okay.
We'll talk about the other one in the next one.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
So this week, our tip, because we got to close, y'all. We got to close. It's long.
I'm about to close.
I'm about to close, but we really going to close, though.
Yeah.
We ain't like a Baptist preacher. Okay. Close tip for today is have 2 blankets. Now, this is something, I feel like we shared this before, maybe in that marriage series we did a long time ago.
No, we've never shared this.
We've never shared this?
Nope.
So have 2 blankets. It sounds crazy. However, let me tell you, we completely avoid any kind of argument or discussion about somebody snatching covers or pulling this or pulling that. We have no conversations about that. Not just that, one of our blankets is super thick and fuzzy and the other one's like a quilt, thinner, right? So whoever is hot in the night, they can grab the thinner one. Whoever's cold or wants to be, they can grab the fuzzier one. And listen, we have zero discussion. And if I want to get under his cover, I just go and get under his cover too. If he wants to get under mine, he'll get under mine too. But at the end of the day, nobody's fighting over it. And boom, 2 covers.
I hate that thick cover.
But he ends up sleeping with it most times.
Right.
Which is funny.
Happy wife.
No.
Happy life. And you know what's funny about that, Taj? Let me tell you. I'm a sweater.
He is. Jesus.
So I sweat.
Stay over there.
When it comes to, if me and her, that's why we can't like cuddle the way.
No, we don't cuddle like that.
Because we just going to be in a big pool of sweat.
I can't stand it.
She got this one blanket. And I saw it. It's like these chairs.
It's not velvet. No, it's like fur.
I'm talking
it's like
about
fake fur.
thick.
It's velvet on one side and like fur on the other side.
Thicker than a bowl of oatmeal. And I'm telling you, bro, every time I get under that blanket, it's like I just stood out in the rain. It's literally like I just stood out in the rain. I hate that blanket. All I do is sweat in that blanket. I was mad when she got that blanket.
It's nice when you're cold.
I'm never that cold.
Yes,
I sleep with the fan on every night.
Yes, we do. Wow. We sleep with the fan directly on us.
Directly on us.
Yeah. I can't sleep without it now.
Yeah, it's that stupid blanket. That's why. But yes, man, we get 2 blankets.
Get 2 blankets, man. Listen, I promise you, it'll save you so many stupid petty arguments. Just have 2 blankets.
And this is the beautiful thing too. If y'all don't need 2 blankets, don't buy 2 blankets. This has been our episode of Behind Closed Doors with Jared and Sam. I'm Jared.
I'm Sam. We appreciate y'all. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe, comment. Let us know what you want us to talk about on the next episode, and we will get to it.